Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our Day 7 recap of the Race to World First. We're
Holy
here
fuck.
at the GameStop Performance Center, the home of complexity, and oh my goodness, it has been a wild,
Okay.
wild couple hours.
So, for reference, a lot of these have been created between the hours of, 1 a.m. local time and 2:30 a.m. local time. It is currently a nice, balmy 3:30 a.m.
And pulls stopped 5 minutes ago. 5 minutes ago was the last pull on the boss. They burned the midnight oil on this one and did not.
They popped the ELX.
They did not kill the boss.
Yes.
The boss survived the reset in North America. It remains to be seen whether it survives the reset in Europe. And it remains to be seen still who will be crowned the champions here of Sanctum of Domination. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But first, let's just take a quick look at an overview of what the race looks like as we end the first reset in North America.
Very similar to yesterday.
In first place in terms of progression, but no longer, or sorry, in first place in terms of getting to the boss, but no longer in first place in terms of progression, are Echo. Complexity Limit have overtaken the best pull at a 0.8% of the assumed health pool that you need to get through the boss. That was a 45.4% wipe that ended up in terms of the actual boss health there, which is completely heartbreaking on the assumed kill number of 45.
Casters around us groaning.
There is much sag floating around here. It's hard not to have it be contagious as well.
Yeah.
So much empathy for all the players involved.
But the Echo guys started raiding. Okay.
Yeah. So as of the time of recording this, Echo are doing splits right now, but they are gearing up to get in and kill this boss while Complexity Limit is asleep. It is a story that has been told over many tiers during BFA. This was the Complexity Limit experience was Gahoon, heartbreakingly close. Extend the raid, heartbreakingly close again for a day, go to bed, wake up, Method killed it.
Yeah.
Then it was
Jaina.
Ajara. Well, Jaina was killed during their reclear on the start of week 2.
They were literally on Mechatorque,
Yeah.
and Method at the time kills Jaina.
On their first reset, which
Yes.
they didn't think was possible.
Which may happen here.
Right.
Like,
It could be the exact same experience, or it could be the Ajara experience of stay up late, pull the boss forever, don't quite get it, go to bed, wake up, Method killed it.
Yeah.
So that is something that forged the Complexity Limit that we see today, and it could certainly happen to them again. In a sense, I mean, obviously it would be heartbreaking for all of the players on Complexity Limit. Wow, the race has been fantastic, whatever the outcome is, though, this tier. And Echo, if they can shave off those last 2.5 effective percentage points of the boss's health, they will have earned this dub, because that will be the only week 1 kill of a boss that is clearly killable week 1, but it is so tight.
I would not be surprised if we wake up today, tomorrow, whatever you want to call it.
In 4 hours.
Yeah, in a couple hours, and the boss is already dead.
It's definitely a possibility, but I mean those last couple percentage points are so hard to get because you need to play so much for damage. The amount of risks you have to take, the way you have to play those mechanics, I mean, it is completely crazy. Let's not leave out, though, of course, we have some other guilds working on Sylvanas Windrunner as of right now as well. Both BDGG and Method BDGG are going to get a reset here. And one interesting thing to think about on this North American weekly reset is actually the upcoming boss nerfs that we have.
Yes.
And boss buffs, rather. Yes. Well, okay, so we got Remnant and Ner'zhul no longer going to get meleeed by Orbs of Torment. Very cool.
I didn't know that was a thing, but I guess, okay.
It not something that happened to me ever, so maybe one of those hot fixes they put in when it's already fixed. Because all of these Sylvanas ones you'll see down here are already in the game. This is just like a log of all the ones they made during the Race to World First. Yeah. This is very standard for an end boss on Mythic, because these are the kind of hot fixes they would make during the hour-long PTR testing if they were to do that for this boss, which they don't. So instead it's done over several days of one guild progressing it.
Yep.
But the big one here, big one for some guilds is going to be Guardian getting so you can't one-tank it anymore. That might mean on the reclear, guilds like BDGG and Fat Shark, that did one-tank it, will have to reconsider their strat.
I suspect that even though you would one tank it, this
You
on
can
this
literally
reset,
just turn a DPS into a tank, and you're still got enough dam.
next reset, yeah, like
Yeah.
you said, turn a DPS to a tank. You're probably good to do that too.
But
Purging protocol
one
strat.
boss that's not going to be as easy, and the one that I think is the biggest question mark here, is Kel'Thuzad.
Yes.
Soul Shards no longer despawn if the target of Soul Fracture is defeated prematurely, which means you can't sacrifice tanks, you can't do that trinket cheese, you can't have somebody taunt and die, and if your tank does die accidentally, it is even more devastating when that mechanic is out as well.
Yeah, in addition to that, though, you can still kind of game the mana to try to get
Yes.
favorable spell queuing on the fight. And so there's a lot that goes into KT for making it a lot easier than people originally anticipated. It's not just that tank sack stuff, but at the same time, tank sacking was an integral part of the strategy for this fight.
So going back to our state of the race then so far, the question is, what should BDGG, Method, and Pieces do with this boss on the reset? You know, I think that they probably are in a position where Sylv is so far from dead for these guilds that it would make the most sense to just go and re-clear and, like, accept that it might take a day or two and try your best in race mindset to get new KT down as quickly as possible, because those 9 bosses worth of Mythic gear are really big news, and they are not just a hair's breadth away from Sylvanas Windrunner dying. But for complexity limit, for complexity limit, looking at this boss, let me switch. There we go. At complexity limit, looking at this boss at 0.8% health, effectively, they will be able to get this with just a couple of heroic bosses, the shards from heroic bosses, the new renown traits that they can get in 10 minutes, the weekly boxed loot.
Yeah.
All of that should combine to, I believe, the best play for complexity limit being an extendo.
Yeah, I think that. Okay, so you do Sylvanas and KT, those have high chances to drop shards. If for some reason you didn't get enough shards, or you didn't feel like you got enough shards to unlock a bunch of your unholy bonuses or something like that, you can just run it through normal, like, really quickly, just like the first 5 bosses in normal. You should get enough shards by that point, hopefully, holy shit, that you would be able to...
Yeah, I mean, there's still domination socketed items from the other bosses as well that might be worth adding to your lineup as well. So it is just a question of opportunity cost versus reward, right? You're thinking about, where can I convert my time to raid DPS in the most efficient conversion possible, because you don't actually need to do too much of it, right? You just want to find stuff that is a good ratio of time to reward. You're not looking for anything else, because once you can get 1% more damage, that's by far all you need.
Yeah, and if they do wake up and Echo is already killed it, then complexity limit probably doesn't extend. They probably just farm Mythic and then...
At that point, I mean, I think they would still extend and just get the kill on the board and
maybe
go to sleep and get
to sleep in the middle of the afternoon.
Go back to sleep. I don't know. I think they still want to just put up the fastest time they can. But yeah, assuming they wake up and Echo is pulling the boss, I mean, I think there's a very good chance. I think the most likely single thing that will happen between this video and complexity limit waking up is, I bet Echo will get a new best pull but won't kill the boss. I think that is actually the most likely thing. I think we will see Echo in a similar situation to where complexity limit was at, where they're just pulling it over and over again, and it keeps getting lower.
Check the item level, though.
Yeah, so that's a good point. Echo has a higher item level on their raid comp in Sylvanas by 2 item levels as of right now. They are still running those splits at last I checked.
2 of their Arms Warriors sim somewhere in the magnitude of 1,000
Yeah, they
DPS.
have their unholy 3 sets, so they have the damage from that perspective. I mean, Limit has the damage. That's the thing. Everybody knew Limit had the damage.
Yeah,
this boss was killable week 1, but it requires such a perfect level of play that I don't know if anybody is going to do it, but it's definitely possible. And if you restarted today a couple times, you would have some days where Limit kills it and some days where they don't, for sure.
This is wild how close this race has been just as a whole, and I'm very glad that everybody is streaming it now.
Yeah,
it's been a joy to watch. I think that this race has probably been this one and the Gahoon one.
Gahoon is underrated because Gahoon was like a Method World first in a sea of Method World first, right? And so a lot of people didn't give Limit credit for just how close they came that tier, but it was almost as close as the experience we're having right now.
The other most notable one, I think, for me in like the Race World First era is like the Serenity versus Exorcist versus Method Nighthold.
Oh my God, the 3-way race on Gul'dan.
That was also a banger. But
yeah,
I thought that
was before the streaming days though. That was all done like kind of, you would hear these rumblings, you'd be like, I just heard there's an Illidan phase.
did you hear that there's an Illidan phase?
Did you know? Yeah, which there was a lot of awesome stuff about that era of the Race to World First, but I would say that this new era is the benefits far outweigh what we've lost.
I like the streaming. The streaming
Yeah,
is very
it is.
cool.
Oh my goodness, this is by far the best thing ever. Is
Yeah.
the Race to World First.
Holy shit. But you and I probably got to get to bed soon, so we may just call this one there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what more to talk about except for the fact that
GG's to both guilds.
GG's to both guilds. You know, if this does come down to Echo not being able to kill, Limit cleaning it up during the reset, I do think that's a bit of a sad outcome, but I think it was clear this boss was killable by both guilds, and I do think that really, you know, Limit's going to be kicking themselves if Echo kills it because they know they could have, and I'm sure if Limit kills it after the reset, Echo will still know that they could have as well.
Yeah, Echo getting 16-hour diffed would be a tragedy. Hopefully, if it happens, hopefully something good comes of it, and we get the worldwide release.
I don't think Blizzard's ever moving on that, but yeah, I mean,
It sucks.
everybody agrees
it sucks
it would
ass.
be good.
Yeah. I don't think that I don't think that anybody's arguing that it wouldn't be for the best.
I think that the tuning of Sylvanas, the 45% number, is actually so great. Like, could you imagine if it was just burned to 50?
Yeah, our camera's out of focus.
No,
Keep talking.
I thought you were like just waving me off. I thought you were like,
no,
oh yeah,
no.
the episode's over.
No.
But I do think the episode should be over anyway. So
We're kind of blurry anyways. All right, let's
all
get
right,
out of here.
yeah, later.
Later.